Welcome to the Rubbish FPL Player channel. This video I'm going to talk about my wildcard team, which is, I'd say, 80-85% locked in. There's still time to finalise it, it's still tomorrow, and the deadline is on Saturday. So I think I'm nearly there. There's probably 2-3 players I'm not sure about, although who knows. The press conferences are tomorrow and we'll find out who's fit, who's available, and that could all change everything. The wild card actually activated last week just to beat some price changes. So I've got in Declan Rice, Thiago and Bruno G. They went up in price overnight when I got them, so I just wanted to get them just in case I was going to be not have enough money for some other future transfers. But anyway, let's have a look at the team. Going for the keepers, going for Dubravka and Ralph. Ralph is top scoring keeper in the league, in the FPL. Next fixtures: Palace, West Ham, Burnley, which are good, though it's then Arsenal and Liverpool. So that's, I think, he's the best keeper to go for at the moment. Going for Dubravka, although I'm not 100% on him. He's the cheapest playing keeper, but I could change to Valdimarson if I decide to go with just sticking with one keeper, playing them all the time, no matter who they play. But Dubravka is in at the moment. I've got 0.7 million in the bank, so that's okay. That'll cover any sort of price changes and so I should be okay. But with Dubravka in, when Ralph is playing Arsenal and Liverpool, Dubravka's got some good fixtures, so you could swap in and out. I don't usually like to do sort of swapping keepers because I'm always worried about, you just know you pick the wrong keeper and the other one that's left on your bench or save a penalty or stuff like that. So that's how it is at the moment, and I don't really want to don't generally think too much about the goalkeepers, just stick with them and that's it. The defence is Gabriel, Timber, Munoz, Van der Ven and Mukiele. Gabriel, I think, is obvious, speaks for itself. He's the best defender in the league, plays for probably the best defence in the league, he scores goals, he's 100% in. Next to that, I've got Timber. He's probably the second best defender in Arsenal. He gets, I think he's got 2 goals and 4 assists. Saliba is another option. He's cheaper, but he's got no attacking threat. It's 0 goals, 0 assists. Calafiori is another option, although he's injured at the moment, I think. And I've had him some weeks this season, but it always feels like I had the wrong Arsenal defender. So that's him. Munoz, I realise he may not play this week. He's still flagged. I think it's 50% on FPL. He's been out for a while with a long-term injury, but before he was injured, he was brilliant. He was very attacking. He's had 3 double-digit game weeks before he was injured. So I want to have him in for when he gets back, whether it's this week. If it's not, it's probably going to be the following week. I've kept Van der Ven in my team. I've had him for a while, maybe from the start. He's relatively inexpensive, and he's done well for me this season. One of the few, he's done well for me. And the other one is Mukiele. He always plays. He's likely to be the 5th defender in my team, so he's maybe even 2nd or 3rd sub on the bench. So whether he'll play or not, any games, we'll see. But if everyone else is, if I need that option on the bench, he'll always play. So I got him. And his next fixtures, if he happens to play, is Palace, West Ham, then Burnley. So good fixtures. On to the midfield. as mentioned before, I've got Declan Rice in. I think he's the top scoring midfielder, certainly for Arsenal. And he always plays. There's good chance of a set piece, chance for a free kick. He always seems to get a goal. He's had a great season. Going for Semenyo is a little bit of a risk, being a Man City midfielder and Pep Roulette and all that, with probably there's probably 5-6 midfielders fighting for maybe about 3 spaces. So I'm expect he's not going to play every single game or start every single game, but I think the upside is really good, and he's highly owned. So if he does score well, he's going to seriously affect your rank. So looking at, obviously the next game is United. You never know in the Manchester derby, but United aren't playing well. After United, City are playing Boda Glint on Tuesday, then Wolves next weekend. And then it's Galatasaray, Spurs, Newcastle, Liverpool. So it gets a bit tougher. So it is going to be interesting how Pep plays it, because is he going to rest Semenyo for the easy games, play him in easy games, and play him in Champions League? Who knows? City are 4th in the Champions League, the table, so in a strong position, but nothing is certain. A couple more games to play before potential playoffs. I think one more win, I think, will be enough. But we'll see how that is. Next, I've gone for Wirtz. Now, Wirtz, everyone had him game week 1, and then wasn't really very good. But the last sort of few weeks, I think there's signs that he's improving form. Liverpool getting better than they were anyway, and he's forming probably a decent partnership with Ekatike. So I think he's good for the next couple of fixtures, I think, at least. I'm getting Burnley next, and then Bournemouth after that. And those are the 2 teams, I think, who are actually top of the expected goals conceded. So probably have him for a couple games at least. And then after that, I'm going to be looking at potentially a United midfielder. United midfielder, obviously the next 2 games are City then Arsenal, which aren't good. But then after that, they've got some good fixtures. So potentially it could be Bruno, or Mbumo will be 100% back. He might be back this weekend. Ahmad is back from AFCON now, so whether he'll play. If he does play, if Ahmad plays and is very attacking, it could be a great bargain. But I think the next 2 games, we'll see what United are about, see if we can pick up some form. Obviously, there's a new manager, would be a new manager bounce. We don't know how exactly they'll play, or rather who will play where. It's likely to be a 4-2-3-1, but we don't know whether Bruno is going to be more of a number 10, or will Mainu be a bit further forward. How is he going to fit in Cunha, Mbumo, Ahmad, Šeško? So we'll see. And then after that is Harry Wilson. He's had a brilliant season. He's scored, I think he's the 5th top scoring midfielder, and there's only 5.9 million. So excellent. The next, it's got Leeds, Brighton, United, Everton in the next 4. So that, I think that's pretty good. He's had 3 double-digit returns this season, 7 goals, 6 assists. So he's doing excellent. He's had 2 goals in the last 2 games, and that was against Chelsea and Liverpool. So more tougher fixtures. As I said, Leeds, Brighton, United, Everton next. So I think that's a pretty good run. And then finally in the midfield is Rodgers, another player who's had a really good season, and Villa are overall in really good form. I think Rodgers is the best attacking option if you want to get a Villa player. I think he's better than any other Villa midfielders and better than Watkins, who's, I think it's a little bit of an awkward price point for Watkins and what he returns. And that's the midfield done. In the attack, Haaland, obviously, although he's not really scored much recently, and I think it's about 5 games he's not scored an open play goal. He's only got 1 penalty. In the FA Cup, he played 45 minutes. I didn't watch it. From what I've heard and read, he wasn't that good, but still Haaland. So, and with him being 70+% owned, I think everyone's got him. Whether I will captain him, I think so, but it's not 100%. He has a good record, I think, against United, and you just know that he'll finally find his shooting boots and score against United. But we'll see. He's 100% in the team when he's captain. I'm not sure. Next is Thiago. He's been in great form. 5 goals in the last 2. It's not the great. It's a bit mixed, the next fixtures: Chelsea, Forest, Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal. Actually, it's apart from Forest, which should be okay. I think those other matches I think could be a bit tough, but he's played. Yeah, he's played excellent this season. And then finally, it's Krupi Jr. That is a little bit of a doubt whether he'll be in my team, but he's only 4.6 million. He's been really good recently, but then there's always a little bit of thought about, obviously Bournemouth have got sold Semenyo, so you would have thought they'll buy someone, whether it'll be someone who's going to sort of take his place or rather like be a competition. We'll see. I think if I had the money, I would have really been tempted by DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's had a good season recent. And I think he was on a run of about scoring in 6 games in a row. But yeah, if I had the money, I would be tempted to get DCL in. Now, looking at the team and players who I ideally want, and as they say, you can't have everyone. I think the team is missing probably Chelsea players, which is a small reason why I actually played the wild card, thinking like that. They've got some really great fixtures, especially after the next 2, I think from 24. So it's West Ham, Wolves, Leeds and Burnley. So if you were to pick 4 perfect fixtures, teams to play against, it's probably those 4 teams. But it's all about which Chelsea player to get. It's Cole Palmer, who's either his fitness issues or form issues. I think his return is certainly not worth his cost. Whether we'll see the best of Cole Palmer this season, I don't know. Who knows? We're past halfway and we're still sort of waiting. The next I did consider was Liam Delap. I think I mentioned in the previous video how the new Chelsea manager that they played together when he was manager, they were at Hull. So see, they've got a previous relationship. So I think that if you're the new manager, I think that helps. He didn't play in the midweek versus Arsenal because he was ill. Now I don't know if that was just a bit of a code or something more serious. So we'll see. Obviously, the press conferences are all tomorrow on Friday. So we'll have to see those press conferences and see all the latest. And one other one, I think, obviously, I've not got Saka in my team, and a lot of people have kept him. A lot of people have sold him actually, and the only thing is a consideration. And if I did get him in, some last minute sort of things, that would change that could change the whole team. But I don't think I'll go there. But the thing about Saka is that if when it's going to be double game weeks and things like that, which I'll go in a second, if you wanted to triple captain, for example, an Arsenal player, I think you'd go, if you're picking any Arsenal player, I think Saka would be most people's top choice. So if I don't have Saka, then and Arsenal have a double, and I did want to triple captain one of them, it would probably be Declan Rice or Gabriel, which obviously they're both capable of getting a big haul, but Saka probably, I think, could potentially do more. So we'll see. I'll have to have a think about that. And the other one I've not got in at the very moment is Bruno G, Newcastle player. As I mentioned right at the start, I did get him in for a price because he was going to increase in price overnight, so I got him in. But I changed my mind a little bit. So obviously he's not in the team as it is now, but he could be. The late. He's had 3 double-digit returns in a row, and it's Wolves next. But then it's Villa, Liverpool, Brentford, Spurs, and there is argument that he might be much better when Newcastle are at home. Looking at how he's scored this season, I think it's pretty much he is a lot better at home, and unless it was Burnley, I think he away, he did well. So we'll see. So I think, as I said, the team's probably 80-85% locked in. Probably won't go Saka, which would throw everything out the window. There's just some things to have a think about, and there's press conferences, so we'll see about that. And like just a quick word on the blank game weeks and double game weeks. I talked about that in the last video a little bit. I'll focus on the ones which are sort of related to the Carabao Cup rather than the FA Cup, because we're just sort of guessing really. The only thing we know in the FA Cup really is who won't be doubling because they're knocked out. So it's United, Forest, Everton and Spurs. I think they're the only ones. So they're not going to be blanking, double game weeking relating to the FA Cup. And obviously, I think all those teams not going to be not in the Carabao Cup. Now the Carabao Cup, it's only the first leg finished, so that we don't know 100% who's going to go through, etc. But City are probably ahead against Newcastle, so they'll be favourites. Arsenal are ahead in the tie against Chelsea, so they're favourites to go through. I think the latest is if Arsenal go through, the match versus Wolves could be brought forward to game week 26. So I have to keep an eye out for that. I think game week 33 is another possible double game week. But we'll find out closer to the time. Arsenal are likely to qualify now for the next stage of the Champions League without needing any playoff rounds or anything like that. So that gives them a chance to rest players. I think there may even be a free midweek. Sorry. Now, if it's game week 26, that is the double when those games are getting rescheduled to. Arsenal will play Brentford and Wolves will play Forest and Arsenal, obviously. Now, I think that a lot of people potentially will be triple captaining Arsenal players against that, because Wolves is 100% a good fixture, and Brentford's a pretty good fixture as well. So, something to keep an eye out. The Carabao Cup semi-final second legs is the 3rd and 4th of February. So another couple of weeks or so. So something to keep an eye on. But anyway, that's the end of my wildcard draft video. A little bit about blanks and double game weeks. Who's would be in your wildcard team? Have you activated the chip as well? Who have I missed? Anyone I've not mentioned that should be in the team? Is there any glaring mistakes? Probably. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you could like and subscribe and share and comment.